Destiny Breast 04 is basically a phase 3 randomized clinical study for the low HER2 metastatic breast cancer with 1 to 2 prior chemotherapy exposure. And it's a comparison between trastuzumab deruxtecan, T-DXd with a treatment of physician choices. So the original data with the efficacy and adverse event was presented at ASCO 2022 by Dr. Modi at Memorial Sloan Kettering, and it had a phenomenal, great outcome for progression-free survival, and including the secondary overall survival, there was a statistical difference, and we understand the overall adverse event. So the study that I presented was based on this efficacy improvement outcome. We had additional patient-reported outcome to be studied formally for the hormone receptor positive population. The patient-reported outcome was done by a 3 validated survey, and this include cancer-specific, breast cancer-specific, and general. And the main thing is to really understand the global health status, and which is reflection of the quality of life. And so those are the things that we measure. But we also had additional like fatigue and nausea and pain reviewed. So we noticed that, well, what we found out is that the global health status was well maintained. It did not deteriorate by the use of T-DXd. Similar in the treatment TPC side also, we found the same thing. Fatigue was also well maintained without no major deterioration. The nausea and vomiting, the early cycle, there was some deterioration on the cycle 3 and cycle 5, but during the course of the 27 cycles, what we noticed is that there's a reduction of the nausea, and it did not further deteriorate. When you actually look into the time to deterioration, there is a significant prolonged improvement on the T-DXd side comparing to regular chemotherapy, particularly for like symptom like pain. There's a fairly significant long-term pain control, and this resulted with like hazard ratio of 0.4. Well, this impact is really to understand the patient's perspective. We know that efficacy and adverse event on the T-DXd is reasonable, but that doesn't always mean that the patients will be feeling that way. And this is a balance between efficacy and safety of the patient's perspective. We confirm now from the patient's perspective that this is really very, not just effective, but patients' overall quality of life does improve by this treatment. And considering metastatic breast cancer, improving the quality of life is extremely difficult. So this is a fairly impressive data that we obtained from this study.